British and Commonwealth heavyweight champion Fabio Wardley and challenger Frazer Clarke gave us a thrilling split decision draw in London last night, live on talkSPORT.
What price a draw? You never know. Right uppercut from Clarke, great shot, and somehow Wardley takes it all around the arena. People are standing up and cheering. It almost seems invidious for there to be a winner here. That was simply breathtaking. The referee tries to draw the two men together. Frazer Clarke sinks onto the ropes. He doesn't have the strength to stay upright. Fabio Wardley is being hoisted aloft in the other corner by Dillian Whyte, who thinks his man has won the fight. There almost shouldn't be a loser there. Just an incredible 12 rounds of heavyweight conflict.
One of the best fights I've witnessed live. That was absolutely insane.
Yeah, absolutely amazing, and the judges are unable to split them. There were no post-fight interviews, by the way, as both fighters immediately went backstage to get checked by medics. Joining us now for more on this is talkSPORT boxing commentator, and a man I used to work with in the days when TV was black and white, people got around on penny farthings, is John Rawling. Morning, John.
Morning, John.
We're still here, Jeff. We're still here, still doing it.
Yeah, we're amongst those over 50s who are still working, mate. Look, it sounds like an absolutely incredible fight. How good was it?
Well, last night I thought was one of the very best British heavyweight title fights that I've seen in many a year. It was just a stunning fight. You know, the atmosphere was electric. There must have been 15,000 people in the O2 who were absolutely hanging on every moment of that fight. And of course, it went all the way. It swung this way, it swung that way. And in the end, that split decision draw, we'd seen Wardley put Frazer Clarke down in the 5th round. Clarke had a point deducted in the 9th round. And Spencer and I, commentating and judging it, you know, as it happened, as the judges do, we had Wardley as a very narrow winner, but there were others who thought the other way, and it was that sort of a fight. It could have gone either way, right down to the last round. It was a phenomenal fight, Jeff.
After a fight like that, John, it almost seems a kind of strange way to finish it up, Jeff, doesn't it? When it's announced as a draw. You just said your gut, John, told you maybe there should have been a decision. Did you get the kind of reaction from everybody in there after the fight that's the way they all felt?
Well, I think people took it pretty well. I mean, you heard in my commentary there in the last round, I said that I thought that a draw might have been a possibility. And I also said that after a fight like that, it would have been a shame to have seen somebody have walked away with a loser. With that result, Andy, Wardley keeps his undefeated record. Frazer Clarke keeps his undefeated record. Wardley keeps the titles. And inevitably, straight afterwards, we're speculating about the possibility of them all doing it again.
Yeah.
You know, and I think inevitably that's what's going to happen at some stage. So it's going to take them quite a while to recover from the sheer brutality of last night's fight. Wardley in particular is going to need significant surgery to his nose and face, which was badly damaged. And it's going to take them both a long time to, you know, we're talking weeks here, to get over a fight of that intensity. But yeah, they could do it again. And maybe the back end of this summer, it would make an intriguing rematch, and it would be a great ticket seller.
John, how, you know, both unbeaten, how far off the big guns are these two guys? How far are they off the Furies and the Joshuas and the Dillian Whytes, the Joe Joyces, if you like?
They're not a million miles off it. Whoever had won, if there had been a decisive result yesterday, they'd have been thrown right into the mix. You know, and I think it would be a mistake to describe this as some sort of second-tier donkey derby, because it was very much not that. You know, I mean, Frazer's an Olympic medalist, Wardley is a tough guy, and they're not at the elite level. But all those names that you mentioned there, they're coming towards the end of their careers, and when they move on, which they will do in the next year or two, then there's going to be a void, and it's going to be people like Frazer Clarke and like Fabio Wardley who are going to be battling to get right into the mix.
Ben Whittaker back in the ring again, John, last night. Won again, bit less flamboyant, maybe.
Yeah, he won on points against a guy from Widnes called Leon Willings. And he had a fantastic start, Whittaker. At one stage, he had him down in the first round, and it looked as though it might have ended right there and then. But Willings showed that he, as a Central Area champion, it was no mug. He was brave, very, very brave. And the referee gave him a couple of rounds on his card. But I think really for Whittaker, it's probably what he needed. He needed rounds under his belt. There's been the criticism of his showboating antics. And I think a few people have said, well, we can do without that. There wasn't too much of that last night because Willings caught him with some good shots. And Whittaker actually had to show that he could take a punch and that he could fight on in the face of adversity, which, in every fighter's career, there's going to be times when that's going to happen. It's kind of the learning curve. And it was a learning curve fight last night for Frazer Clarke. It was a real gut check against Fabio Wardley. And it was good to see Ben Whittaker, who's got so much natural talent, actually having to think a bit and to try and put his moves together and confront a really determined opponent in front of him.
John, just finally, Chris Congo, I was listening to you guys. I was in the car coming back from the Etihad, and I was listening to that fight, and that sounded like another really close contest, even though it was a unanimous call at the end. But how impressed with his performance was you?
Very much so, because Marku had been ahead for me after 4 or 5 rounds. He'd won, I think, second, third and fourth rounds, and that had put him into a strong position into the fight. And Chris Congo, he could have got dispirited at that time, and it seems crazy to say it, but in the O2 Arena there were so many Albanian supporters for Marku. He seemed very much like the home fighter, but Congo came surging back and showed a lot of resilience and determination. And in the end, it was a well-deserved win and a very good performance indeed from him.
John, smashing to talk to you, pal.
Thanks, John.
Take care, mate.
Good to see you, boys.
John Rawling on a big night of boxing at the O2. Now, next we'll ask exactly how Manchester United left the G-Tech with a point on Saturday.
talkSPORT Breakfast, waking you up Monday to Friday morning from 6 a.m. on AM, on DAB, via the talkSPORT app and on your smart speaker. talkSPORT.